There we go. I am Craig Shoemaker. This is Game Changers with Vicki Abelson.
It is, and Craig, it's been exciting, hasn't it?
You're 5 minutes late because she's doing everything here.
Because Pete George has the nerve to have a stand-up gig in Cleveland.
He's in Cleveland tonight
He's
and
in Cleveland.
left you here alone.
He left me here with my
with
son.
Your son who does not want to be here.
Who is disgruntled. Harry is disgruntled.
He's got hands on hips.
He does not want to be doing this at all. Oh, and Facebook has us blurry, which is always really nice when Facebook does. And look, we're not even...
When you get to be our age, you want a little blur.
So
I remember when
focused
I was a kid. I remember watching Sybil Shepherd. They put a sweat sock over the lens for moonlighting.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Oh, it was,
she was gorgeous.
I know. Well, she was a lot more gorgeous with that whole look.
See, we're not blurry on the iPad. Okay. We're only blurry on the thing. I don't know why it's not letting me touch it.
You know,
That's what he said.
I've done a few shows in my time. I've never had, like Craig Ferguson setting up the camera going, make it wider.
I'm telling you, this is a horse and pony show, but because it's such a homespun, lovely thing, people like this because they feel like they're in the living room with us. Because that's what it is.
Is there anybody in the living room with us?
Or is it
just the two of us?
No, there are people in the living room, and there'll be more people coming. Okay. See, they're gaining in numbers.
It's distracting to watch me on delay.
I know.
I'm on a delay, so let's see how long the delay is.
It's blurry. The soft focus. All right, before we get into the show, I want to give a shout out to a couple of people who make my life so much better. Do you have angels in your life?
Yeah, I guess so. Sure.
So one of the angels in my life is Rick Smolke from Quick Impressions in Chicago, and he's my printer. And if you need anything done, if you need business cards,
I do.
Okay, I'm
Rick
telling
Smolke.
you, he is going to set you up. Quick Impressions in Chicago. I'm going to hook you up.
Okay.
And if you guys want to get a hold of him, the link is in the show ad. The promo for the show. He made these tissue boxes. Mackenzie Phillips, you're not on here because this was before you, because it's before Rick has to make me new tissue boxes.
You know, I wasn't going to point that out, but I'm glad you did.
Well, we need new tissue boxes.
Of course, anyone that's ever been a guest on anything, you're going, where am I? Look at yourself on the wall. I'm nowhere to be seen.
You'll get on the next.
I did a Women
You did a Women Who Write, and you'll be on the next. You did it with Rumor. Isn't Rumor incredible? Do you remember the girl who sang?
And Christine.
Christine Blackburn, fantastic. It was a great show.
Yeah, I met her there.
Is that where you met her?
Yeah,
Did you do her podcast after that?
Yes, I've done her.
See, there you go. Everything.
You've led to everything in my career.
All roads lead to. And I was watching a podcast.
Like 6 degrees of Vicki Abelson.
I was watching a podcast that Craig did last week when he thought he was coming here.
Oh my God! It was the strangest day. I was on the Tonight Show.
Anyway, it's not the Tonight Show.
Well, it's called the Tonight Show or something like that.
The show tonight.
I don't think that's it either.
It better not be called the Tonight Show.
They were really wonderful, though. They were wonderful hosts. But I arrived there, and I had been here before. But so I'm like, my assistant does all the, the calendar.
Randy, is her name Randy?
Ricky. I'm pulling it up on the calendar, and it just says, and I thought maybe you renamed it. I just wasn't thinking.
Okay.
And I've been on the road, and I'm driving. I'm going, wow, this is a shorter distance than here. And just threw that little resentment in. Through the rain, I just took a ferry.
I have to go to your neighborhood on Friday. I know.
But not for me.
No, but
don't put it on me. You put the guilt monkey right back on me. I have to go to your neighborhood, Craig.
I'm going to Bogey's tomorrow night.
No way. It's around the corner from
I'm going to see Snuffy Walton and Sarah
you are not.
Nevitz.
That's a big cougar hang. You're going for the cougar hang. I know about bogeys.
I'm going to see Sarah Nevitz and Snuffy Walton tomorrow night. Do their electric thing.
Okay, all right. I might see you.
The Babylon Social Club is going to be great, actually.
I will come over and see you and see the cougars and the saber-toothed tigers.
Oh, wait. I'm like slapping the thing. People.
Don't slap.
Hey, Harry, we've got a microphone. We've got this wonderful blue Yeti microphone.
Blue is good.
No, it's a really good microphone, and Kevin Walt from Blue Microphones is a wonderful guy. How's the? Would you ask people if the volume's okay?
That's your second promo, okay? And then how about the hairspray?
All right, so wait, but I didn't finish with Rick.
Right.
He really will do your stuff for you. Right. And for any of you out there who need anything done, Rick Smolke of Quick Impressions in Chicago, he ships this stuff anywhere. Anybody who is a friend of mine. Any artist, he really does everything like pretty much gratis. He's an angel. He made these fantastic.
Rick, make this worth my trip.
Okay. He will.
So far, I got a hat that doesn't fit.
That's from him. No, what do you mean it doesn't fit?
No hat fits me. I have the most gigantic head.
Hello.
My sister used to call me the human eclipse.
Put it on now.
Listen, I'm telling you, it's going to be a hinge. I've lived with this head a long time.
Put it on now. I'm
Okay.
telling.
Are you ready?
Dave has a big head too. Your
What's
dad
that?
has a big head. I'm telling
Does he
you.
really?
Yeah, it's gonna fit now.
You know that's a secret to showbiz. See, look. You know, Big Head Todd. He looks at me and goes, "Whoa, I need to change my name." It's a gigantic head.
Wow.
But you know that supposedly that's a secret to show business.
You know,
Vanna White was chosen for her big head, and one time I had a meeting with Merv Griffin.
Is that true? You know, my
And
father thought I looked like Vanna White.
Well, so that's
But
your
my
head's
head
not
is
big
not.
enough.
My
Not big
head's
enough.
not big enough.
So when I met him, I was up for a TV show, and I said, "Listen, I don't know if I'm going to get this, but I've always wanted to meet you to ask you this question: Is it
Go ahead.
true
Vanna
that Vanna White was cast for her big head? And if it's true, Merv, I'm your man." I said, "I'm an 8, a size 8. I'm a human eclipse. My sister, I would stand."
So
in front
wait,
of her.
what was the answer to that question?
Oh, of course he waxes po. Oh yes, she didn't have an 8 by 10. She did 8.5 by 11. Oh yes, I made that up, but still.
That's a good joke.
He went on and
Too
on
good
about
for Bert.
about
For
yeah,
Merv.
exactly. I did write that one, but anyway, he did say that that's how she was cast was her big head. So, and I noticed I've been on a hunt. I've noticed like I met Clint Eastwood, gigantic, looks like a pumpkin on a broomstick. Certain people have the big head.
So that's the reason
Most
that I'm
showbiz
still sitting
stars.
in my living room.
That's exactly what explains my size 8 being in your living room on a rainy night. I drove an hour and a half.
I'm so sorry. All right, so
For some
do you know Nicole?
Raisinets.
Do you know Nicole Venables?
Yeah, sure.
I knew.
Oh yes.
Nicole is my hairdresser.
She's awesome.
And do you see her hairspray?
I didn't know she had that.
Crush Love.
Of course. It's
Fuck off.
Fuck off. Oh, that's her.
Hello,
Okay. Now
and it's me.
now I get
That's
it.
why she's my hairdresser, and I met Nicole through Rachelle Carson, our good
Right,
friends, of
yes,
course.
yeah.
So we have many
Is she
mutual
still in the
friends.
Valley? Is she still?
She's
have a-
in Studio City.
Yeah. Okay.
She has a fabulous salon, the Ruby Begonia Salon, which
Nice.
kids don't know what the Ruby Begonia. Do you remember Ruby Begonia?
Yes, I do.
Of course.
Yeah. So I can make an appointment with her now too. So this actually, not only am I getting Raisinets, it's going to cost me money.
No, you're going
to
to
come
get
here.
rid. No, you're
I
going
have
to
to
get
have
rid.
printing I don't need. I have to have a haircut.
But you're going
It's
to
gonna
get.
be. She's
you're
very
gonna get free
expensive, right?
printed. She is very expensive.
Yeah. Okay.
But
this
she's
is,
worth it. Look at my hair.
This is costing me. That's what I want to look like.
But you're gonna get free.
Imagine me with
you're
that.
gonna get-
Imagine me with that hairstyle.
You're gonna get free. That would be very Spinal Tap.
Middle-aged Bon Jovi.
That would be very Spinal Tap. So, all right. So wait, before we go, I want to just say hi to people who are here that are stopping in to talk to us. So Mark Snyder's here. Hi, Eileen Angel. Hi, Valerie Paula. Ben Moranis is with us. Hi, Walt Kaufman, Russell Rapp, Patty Ann. Hi, Gail.
Let me tell you how insecure
Patrick.
I am. I'm going to tell you how insecure
What?
I am, okay? I'm watching you read that column,
Right.
which is all the people that are here. I'm
Yeah.
looking at the column of the 2 people that just left. That's who you're dealing with here, okay? We're down.
Anthony Coppola.
Hi,
He's
Anthony.
connected, you know.
Okay.
You know, speaking of connected, this was really interesting because I interviewed Burt Young last week.
Okay.
So I just, as kind of a joke, said, "Were you connected?" And he said, "Yeah." And so later I said, "Were you a made man?" He goes, "Well, I already answered that." I have never known that is something that anybody would admit to on the air, let alone personally, let alone on the air.
Wow.
That was, I
It's
think,
called an exclusive.
I think it
Let's
was.
see if you can get one out of me today. By the way, how come you haven't asked me if I'm connected?
So are you connected?
No.
Well,
at
you're
all.
connected to me.
Yeah,
There
for
you
right
go.
now, yes.
So, hi, Bill. Hi, Kim. Okay, so Deborah, hi.
Just went down another one.
All right. He's watching the note. Don't you can't.
I can. It's gonna
you-
hit my
you-
insecurities.
Stop looking at that. Stop
All right,
looking at
I
it.
will.
Okay, we are a little soft focused today. So Facebook does this to me. Do they do this to you?
I don't know. I've never done this before.
You never did a
I
Facebook
came in
Live?
here, it looked impressive for a second. Until you started getting behind the camera and your son's going, "Mom, you're got it focused on the bookcase."
I know. Well, that's because Pete George isn't here. Pete, I
Okay.
miss you. Come on back. People, let us know if the sound is okay because
There's a lot of distractions
we're
going
using
on
this
here.
lo- this
My
lovely-
codependence, I'm
Saying
seeing.
the sound is fine.
Oh my
The
God,
sound
we
is
went
fine.
down another one. Oh my
Oh
God,
no!
don't let me
stop,
look at this.
No, stop looking.
There's 19 screens here. You got your son in and out of the room here telling you got soft focus.
All right.
Okay.
Stop
so
looking. All right. Let's get back to the
let's
conversation.
get back to.
So
I didn't know we were even in one.
we're going to start a conversation
Okay, we'll
now.
start one,
What
okay.
I think is the most interesting thing, because I did not know this or I didn't remember this, is that
Okay.
we're both sober people.
Yes.
But I heard you say something really interesting on that podcast last
Yeah.
week, where you said, "Well, marijuana isn't addictive."
Yeah.
Now
we're gonna go right for the juice here.
I'm
Okay,
going.
good.
I'm going.
Good.
Right, I'm going right in there.
We're going right for the bomb water.
We're going.
Okay, I love it. Okay.
I haven't tasted bomb water in a long time.
Yeah,
Neither have you.
no, 31 years.
Okay, so what was your drug of choice?
Everything, and everything that
You
I
were
could
garbage
possibly.
pail.
Now the thing is with pot
Yeah.
is it never worked for me, but I kept doing it anyway, probably thousands of times. I always wanted to be the comics, that smoke and they seem to get smarter.
Like Mark Maron used to do, I guess.
Well,
or,
they just have that vibe, like back in New York when I was hanging with them, they smoke a joint and they just seem to be, just cool.
Very
and you go
cool.
on stage. Oh, I'll tell you one story.
Okay.
I don't think this could be an exclusive.
Oh, nice. I love
So
exclusives.
remember in New York or back east, the thing was you could actually headline as the MC. The MC was a real key position.
I was a comic in New York for 5 minutes, and
Okay.
I don't remember an MC ever being the headliner.
Well, sort of. I mean, they keep things again. Adrian Toll.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
you
mean
could,
like at the comic strip?
well, anywhere.
Okay.
You could save your time for the end when you're, So anyway, I was emceeing one night at Charm City Comedy Club in Baltimore.
Okay.
And it was me, Max Alexander, and Bill Maher. And
That's a good
so
bill.
I went up and I was killing. I did really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Here's Max Alexander." I go outside, and Bill Maher lights up a joint. By the way, I'm not outing him, as you know.
You are not outing Bill.
He outs himself every single week on his show.
Yes, he does.
And he goes, "That's really good, isn't it?" And I went, "It's okay." and he goes chill, smarter. I go dumb, paranoid.
Yeah.
I mean, major paranoid. Just heightens all those senses. So I go back in. Now I'm in front of the same people that were loving me, and I'm thinking, why are they looking at me? It was horrible. And I was literally freaking out. I was having a panic attack.
Oy.
So then the only good news was I got to the part of my act was celebrities smoking pot. And I never did it so well. I totally immersed myself in all
wait a
the
minute. I need to
characters.
see it. Do you remember that bit? Can you do a little?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's...
Oh my God! You had
I
a
did
big
that.
celebrity smoking pot. I want to see.
Well, the one you can't see, it ended with Curly from the Three Stooges going, "Whoop, whoop, whoop, yeah, yeah." And I'm twirling on the floor. But I was like the De Niro.
Well, I'm not supposed to be.
I was like the De Niro of comics back. I immersed myself in every, I was Cheech and Chong, this is how long ago it was, I did David Frost.
Oh my! They don't even know who David Frost is.
Nobody knows who David Frost is.
I know David Frost.
I won't even bother. So,
Penny loves the Love Master. Hi, Penny.
hi, Penny. This is so bad for your ADD. This is the worst thing you could have.
Hi, Dean. I knew Dean Holterman for about
I had
35
you down.
years.
I knew you had attention deficit problems.
You know,
I thought you opened up with this really key question,
All right.
and now you're on to
no,
Penny.
all right.
already.
So now
I love Penny too.
No, we're gonna. I know you know Penny. We're gonna talk. I want to talk about this. So wait. What other celebrities smoking pot did you do?
Oh God, I did Cheech and Chong.
Let's see Cheech and Chong.
Hey man, it's time for a marijuana party. Hey man.
Oh yeah.
And I totally got into it. And then when I came out of it again, I go, oh, okay, here's Bill Maher. And I introduced him and just got the hell out of there. It was so.
So you didn't get high before your shows?
No, I couldn't. I
yeah.
couldn't. I was just, it didn't.
Did you drink before your shows?
Oh, I drank during the show. I was one of those guys hold a beer on the stage, you know.
Oh, a beer. Well, you weren't like drunk though when you were doing your show.
Well, I've been drunk on stage, yeah, for sure. But it was kind of like.
Were you functional?
It was kind of like the '80s cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Was a
cocktail.
bottle. Yeah. So you have a cigar. Bill George Burns, whatever. We would hold a bottle of beer,
right?
And you do shots with the crowd and all that kind of stuff. And it's free, which I always love.
Free booze was always good. So you were able to do your thing drunk but not stoned.
No, couldn't be stoned. Did coke too. I did coke. Yeah, I was okay with the coke. I guess I don't know.
So all right. So I have two questions. So
yeah.
I have a two-part question. So one part is you're thinking that marijuana is not addictive, which I'm going to take a little umbrage to because I'm a marijuana addict.
I know you are.
18 years without pot. And believe me, if it was not addictive, I'd still be smoking the shit. Because if I could smoke it like a lady, I'd be doing that. Because I'm a fan. I was
Okay, all
I was
right.
a big fan.
Okay,
What?
I've just thought of an argument for you.
Okay.
But go ahead.
No, I want to hear. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I did a movie called Totally Baked.
I know this.
And it was inspired because my son asked me about pot.
Okay.
He says, I was doing that song, Smoker, Midnight Toker, Steve Miller.
Right.
And he goes, what's a toker? I go, he gets stumped by the kids.
How old
like,
was he?
He was like 8.
Oh,
And I
that's
said,
young.
yeah, I know he's young. And I said, someone that smokes pot. And he goes into the kitchen, he pulls out a pot, and he goes, how do you smoke that, Dad? And I thought, what do you tell the kids? So I went on a little research run.
Okay.
And got some heavy pot smoking people that knew the comedy about pot because they're heavily involved in that. We had a number of comics in this. Doug. I'm blanking on his. Just all the pot people.
Okay. All the pot people.
I lined them all up, and everybody got involved, and it was.
Jimmy Celeste. Jimmy, were you one of the pot people? I don't know if Jimmy was a pot person. Do you know Jimmy Celeste?
He was not in the movie.
Okay.
Doug Benson. That's what I was thinking.
Okay, I don't know Doug Benson.
Yeah, it's Super High Me. That's the movie he did. That tells you how high he gets. So I wasn't.
Super High Me.
Yeah, not High Me. I wasn't.
I was gonna say that's a really bad name.
No. Yeah.
That's
If you say it really fast,
yeah, it's not
it
good.
plays in the Midwest because they have no idea. But anyway, so I did this movie because I really wanted to know. Now, in this research, I must tell you that I could not find anti-pot people.
I heard you say that.
Yes.
Okay, so I can take you to hundreds of rooms where you will find rooms filled with people.
Marijuana Anonymous, right?
Well, I don't go there because I respect the tradition, so I don't name it. But
Right.
there
So
are
you're in a room with people.
There are rooms with people
But you
who
don't
are
know their
anonymous.
name.
We don't know their names, and it has an A in it.
You're on a first name basis.
And we're on a first name
Okay.
basis, and we say, "Hi, I'm Vicki, and I'm
Okay.
a marijuana addict."
Right.
And those rooms are filled with marijuana.
So here's okay. So what I found in this,
Okay.
in the movie, in a very funny way, we
Okay.
approached addiction.
which I love.
We approached big bad health. Now, far greater than marijuana would be bad eating. In our country, it's just like really bad.
I have that addiction too.
Heart attacks, and more people die from that than marijuana overdose. By the way, no one dies of marijuana overdose. That's a fact.
Okay, they might not die of marijuana. Well, actually, that's not true. With the new strains of pot, there are people dying, but
Okay.
also I know many people who have died as a result of the marijuana.
I'm not condoning marijuana use. I'm just
I
saying
know
this is
you're
my
not.
research.
I'm just saying that.
And it's no good
people-
for me because I have a champion gene that is no good for any kind of addiction.
Yes, me too.
Now, here's the argument is I'm
Okay.
also addicted to Mrs. Maisel. So,
Mrs. Maisel, my friend Michael Murata was on season 2,
I-
episode 4.
I doubt that I am going to be in a meeting trying to get off of Mrs. Maisel. It didn't sound right, did it? But that's my point is you can be addicted to anything.
I'm addicted to many things.
But I'm talking about the actual physical chemical addiction. There is no chemical in it.
Yeah.
There isn't cigarettes.
There's
Cigarettes?
THC. There are people who are addicted to
Yeah,
marijuana,
well-
and I was one of those people.
Yeah.
That if you took it away, I would have physical withdrawal from marijuana.
Yeah.
And because if you
I've
smoke,
had physical withdrawals from women.
I've had physical withdrawals from Cheetos. I mean, there are all kinds of things.
That's what I'm saying. Well, Cheetos that has chemicals,
Well, it does.
and they have an addictive
Well,
chemical. in it,
THC is a
so-
chemical.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
I guess so.
Yeah, it's a drug.
Yeah.
So anything that's a drug and
But
makes
pure
us
weed, though, right from the.
THC, and anything
But that's
that
not a man-made.
it's not man-made. It's not man-made.
It's not a synthetic.
It's not synthetic. It's
Yeah.
a natural deal. And anything that alters our brain chemistry. I'm addicted to caffeine.
Yeah.
Are you not?
No, actually, that's a good one for me. Can you believe of all my addictions? As a matter of fact,
Wow.
when I was really young, I started drinking really young. In 9th grade, I was so bombed at a babysitting job, someone else's babysitting job. We would always raid the liquor cabinets and
Right.
fill it up. They would
Get
put a
the
little
line.
line on there. They put a line on. Oh no, we were hip to that. I'm not an idiot. So you put some water in there. So I was so drunk, they had no idea how to handle me in 9th grade. So they made coffee and they jammed it down my throat, and I have never had a cup since. It disgusts me.
Stop.
Yes. Now here's how
Did you get sick? Is that why?
Oh yeah. But I was like, whoa. This tells you how an alcoholic I am. I drank again, but I didn't drink coffee again. I drank plenty, which was causing the vomiting and causing the problems. But no, I decided to go off of coffee.
Well,
that'll solve it.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, so that tells you the addict mind is how silly it is. But I think I also have a bad sense memory of my grandmother with a little percolator.
Oh, I have a percolator.
You do? An old style percolator? And I didn't like the coffee rinds. And then also the Sanka, the sound of her, her little tink on the cup.
Sanka is a disgusting and horrible thing. I don't even know if it exists anymore.
I don't know either, but I'll tell you, I even served it in a restaurant when I worked in a restaurant.
What restaurant did you work in?
I worked in tons of restaurants, but they always offered Sanka. Yeah, back east in Philadelphia.
Oh, in Philadelphia. Yeah. Okay. Elle Latch, friends with Elle?
Of course.
Yes, because
is she here?
Philly girl. She'll be here later.
Oh my God,
she's not
Vinny
here now.
Mark. There you go. What's up?
Okay, so I was in the Laughter Company with Vinny. 1983.
Oh my God. No, seriously, this is going to be surreal. Vinny can answer this. I was in it too.
No, you were not. When? After
1983.
Me.
It was exactly 1983. Vinny can solve this for us right now. Isn't this weird?
No, stop
was that. Was that you? I'll tell you who was in it.
No, Joan St. Ange, Vinny,
Rosie
Dave.
O'Donnell.
I was,
Dave
okay, I'm right after. I replaced Rosie. Because don't I look like I should replace Rosie?
I replaced Eddie Murphy.
Look
where we went. We're in your living room.
I was in Rider PI. Were you in Rider PI, their movie?
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. So,
I must have been in 84 then.
Peter Bales.
Peter
and
Jeff Sussman. Jeff Sussman.
Sure, yeah.
Gave me my first check.
And Dave Hawthorne, Bob Nelson was in it. Was he in yours too?
Yeah, Bob was the original Laughter Company. It was his thing. Him and Eddie.
Yeah.
And
that's how I met. That's how. Oh, he says Vicki was after Rosie. Okay.
Yeah, I was
the Rosie era. And then she and I ended up touring together as co-headliners, and then we would do improv afterwards, which was basically what we had already learned at the Laughter Company.
That's crazy.
Freeze! Get your hands off that woman. I was always there.
I was terrible at it, so because they tormented me, I had no background in improv. I was an actress, and I had done Rider PI because I did a Saturday Night Live with Billy Crystal, and Dave was partners with Billy Crystal.
Yes.
So when they found out I did that, they invited me to the Laughter Company. I was not equipped. They drove. I used to get back on the Long Island Railroad to Manhattan and cry every Wednesday.
Yeah,
they made me cry. You made me cry, Vinny.
Not
every
Vinny.
Wednesday.
Vinny's the nicest person in the
Vinny
world.
Was the sweetheart.
Ever. Oh yeah.
Vinny was always
such a sweetheart. I remember Dave Hawthorne taught me something. He was in a group called Identical Triplets.
Yeah, but with Billy Crystal. Yeah.
And I'll never forget this. And I still teach. When I teach and mentor people, I tell them this. So I was big in my act. Everything was big head, big arms, flailing and everything else. And we did this bit on, it was, I would go hit, miss, but I was delivering it like hit, miss. You know what I mean?
Like one of those Lance Armstrong dolls or something?
He says to me, sit on your hands and do not move your hands. And that means you can bring everything to here instead of putting it out here, putting the energy out here. So to this day, when I'm teaching people, I remember Dave Hawthorne teaching me, because and the bit was, I go, hit, miss, you sunk my battleship, and but I would do it, you sunk my battleship, so you sunk my battleship. So now, yeah, you can really, feel your emotions, and you're not putting it out, yeah. And that was one thing I got out of the Laughter Company.
That's really interesting.
And a friendship with Vinnie Mark.
And that's a good thing. Well,
But he never taught me how to get out of a straitjacket, though. That was.
I got a husband and 2 kids out of it because they drove me to stand up because I needed to learn how to. They were all stand-ups. I wasn't.
Yes, that's right.
I went to take a class to defend myself. It was Gabe Abelson, who then became my husband, and who gave me my 2 children. And today is Samantha Abelson's birthday, her 21st birthday. Happy birthday, Samantha.
Right.
I love you, and I miss you.
Samantha. And she picked you up with my 20-year-old son.
She had her first legal drink tonight. She's drank before.
Okay.
And she taught my mother how to do a shots of tequila with lime and salt tonight.
How are you with your kids drinking? I mean, that's been one for me that's, I wonder if they got the champion gene. I get that.
But from both sides.
By the way, do you know that reference, the champion gene?
Well, I can.
So write in if you know what that reference is.
I don't know where it's coming from, but I figured out what it is.
It's a movie, yes.
Oh, it's a movie.
It's a movie. Back in the 80s. Let me see if anybody gets it.
All right, wait.
They don't have it yet.
Thanks, Vinny. Vinny's wishing Samantha happy birthday. Vinny said, let's talk about me.
We have been way too much, Vinny.
We've been talking about you,
Great.
Vinny.
I don't know about you. I have no memory from the last 20 years. I couldn't tell you anyone's act, but I could go back to I could tell you everyone's act from back in the day. I don't know anyone anymore.
Because that's because we were getting high and we had sharper brains.
Well, not only that, there was such a passion for the hang and a passion for the business. And now I could care less. I just do my job and I go away and I just have an opening act for 8 minutes.
It's
so I don't have
also,
to watch anybody else.
It's also because you have a big life now. Back then,
yes.
our whole lives,
yeah.
That's right, that was our life. And
Exactly
now
right.
we have big lives with kids. So you asked me about kids.
No one got it. No one's got Champion.
It's
from
right.
Pope of Greenwich Village.
No, stop, because I had Burt Young last week on my show, who has that great death scene.
Right.
And Eric Roberts is a friend of mine, and I've had Eric on the show.
Eric Roberts has a scene where he bought sperm from the horse to make horses. You know, at the thoroughbred. I got that you jerked the horse off, Charlie. He's got the champion gene, Charlie. Champion gene.
Eliza watches the show.
No way.
She watches the show that she cast Burt Young.
I hope that was an okay impression of your husband there.
Listen, what can happen?
He took my thumbs, Charlie. Jimmy the Bedbug took my fucking thumbs, Charlie. It hurt so much. It's the only place I could do that, and anyone
would get it.
Is going to get it.
But listen, what happened? Because Bert did the show last week, Eliza was watching.
Yeah.
She cast Bert in a short film from last week. So you can get you too.
Listen, I'm looking for something to happen here. So far,
correct.
I have to go get an expensive haircut. I got a hat that won't fit and some
too
Raisinets.
Young. I was told I was too young. She's doing a film about older people talking about comedy, I think it is, or being funny. But anyway, you're too young for it. So talking about kids, I love you, Samantha. Happy birthday. She's drunk by now. She was doing shots.
I was going to say to you. So my kids.
How old is your oldest?
He's 20, but he's been drinking.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, last year we went to my bar that I grew up going to when I was a kid.
In Philly?
No, in Jersey, the Jersey Shore.
Okay.
And it's called the Princeton. And now they've divided up. It's huge now, and they literally divided up into sections. You got the old people doing the folk music, and then they had. So I went to his room. But the best part about it,
what's going on in his room?
His room is like modern dance. Everybody, the shots and all this. So I got in there and I'm dancing. I'm teaching them. They did Staying Alive because they do blend our music in there. So I'm doing I'm doing authentic Travolta.
Disco.
Oh yeah, and they're looking at me and I'm going, Staying Alive.
I'm just telling you right now.
Okay.
All right, I'll tell you.
So anyway, I danced with him that night, and he said, "This is the greatest night of my life," and he kept saying it. Oh, it was good until he got drunk. He kept saying it like the repeat drunks. This is the greatest night of my life with my father.
Are you buying him drinks?
No, I'm too cheap. I wouldn't do that. No, I'm not.
He's buying his own drinks?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't remember pulling. I only danced.
Did he have fake ID, or did he not even need it?
He has fake ID. He's got the whole deal, which he just got nailed for. But
did he?
Oh yeah, but he was. So we danced that night. The only good news on it was I did have fun. I do love dancing. Was the girls that were dancing? He attracts a lot of girls, and they go, "Your dad's a dilf." I was like, "Oh, this."
What? A dad I want to fuck?
Oh. Never heard of a dilf?
I didn't.
I got the dilf tag. And listen, running like I have been for years with the kids, middle age, and a minivan. You want to hear, like a little
like
something.
You're a dilf.
Yeah, you want to hear a dilf, for God's sake.
I didn't know there were dilfs.
Well, they said it, and I was like, good thing I didn't show them the dad bod that goes with because that doesn't look so good. And I was so drenched, we had to keep going into the bathroom to get the dryer. We have video of it. My son was howling, laughing. I got drenched, and it was titty sweat. It was horrible. So I was no dilf with the titty sweat. And we're in there,
You can't move the dryer in a...
No, we took the shirt, and we're going like this. We're doing like this with the shirt, and I literally got bounced. I'm a grown man. I got bounced out of a kid club. Because, that's it. That's enough of that. It was just my third time in there, drying off, and I was there with no shirt on, and they bounced me.
The nudity. The dilf for nudity. That's a story for your wife.
My wife this is the weirdest thing. I've never met anybody like her. She has zero, and I mean zero jealousy. So, there's a good thing and a bad thing about that.
Although I know you don't, because I heard about her and Ryan Gosling, and I gotta say, Ryan's my boy too.
Oh, really?
Oh, anytime.
Good for her.
Anytime.
Good for He's not showing up anytime at our house.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna show up? Hey, get rid of those kid toys. Let's roll this out here.
She's not jealous at all?
It's zero. Now, here's the bad side.
Well, when's her birthday?
Here's the bad side.
Okay.
I said, honey, does that mean no one would want me? Do you really? So there's the bad side of it. The good side of it is she has such confidence in our relationship and herself and me.
Wait. Roll this back.
Yeah,
when is her birthday?
I'm not going there
Just
with
tell
astrology.
Just tell me when her birthday is.
I hate astrology. I think it's the most. It's
I'm
the biggest myth.
I'm gonna look her up.
It's the biggest myth ever.
I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you why she's not jealous. I'll give you the reasons.
I have stumped every astrologist.
All right, Zoe Moon.
Zoe Moon, yeah.
Do you know
no one
Zoe?
has ever guessed my birth sign. And don't look it up.
Oh, wait a minute. I know what it is.
Oh, damn it.
You know why I know what it
fair.
is? Because we're the same.
Scorpios. Oh, yes. We're supposed to be sexual.
The highest.
Oh, it's such bull. You think some Amish guy's going, oh, yeah, I can't get enough of that. Oh, yeah. I did her in the back of the buggy there. You know, I mean, a lot of mules watching us. I mean, really. Don't get me started with that.
Hey, that Amish
now we can have an argument about that
That
and
Amish guy when he's in the top of the haystack.
Oh yeah.
That Scorpio Amish guy.
Maybe get some. I'll give you a stinger. In the
haystack. Okay, so let's get back to kids and drinking, and so.
It's tough because there's the one side where you don't want to, prevent them from.
Does he have the ism? Do you think?
Yeah, well, it's not up for me to say, is it?
Yeah, no, it's not.
But there's chances are both parents.
Did they ever?
His mom was the one that got me to stop drinking 30-some years ago. Isn't that weird?
Is she sober?
Yeah.
So okay, so what got you in the why did you get sober?
I went with Rachelle.
This is all right. No, don't give up her anonymity.
I'm not.
Okay.
I went with her to a party.
Oh,
And with this girl I was dating, Carolyn, and I said, hey, it was a cake party. I said, I'll get you guys a beer. And they go, we don't drink. And I'm going, too hot, women don't drink? I always thought an alcoholic was a big bulbous nose Mr. Plunkett. Sorry I broke his anonymity, but he was a drunk. He was a brown bag. I thought that was an alcoholic.
Right.
And there were others, but I never saw one that looked like these two.
Right.
And I said, you don't drink. I said, what are you on, solids? Like, what do you mean you don't drink?
You're on solids.
So I had the beers, and I just went, okay, I'll drink yours for you. And I pounded them down, and Rachelle, of course, knows everything about everybody. She goes, he's an alcoholic. She had me pegged.
So that's not a bottom. So what got you?
I had a lot of bottoms. But
like
what's weird is bottoms are never like the dramatic ones. I don't know about you.
Well, I mean, not mine, but I know people who've had very dramatic bottoms.
No, I mean, I died once and hovered over my body, complete overdose.
Okay, stop right
went down.
What do you mean you died?
Oh, I totally died, yeah.
How?
I was in Jamaica, of which I thought I was Mr. Cool, and pot in Jamaica is so easily accessible. You make these gigantic joints where you go, hey, go down the street and light me up. I mean, because it's so accessible.
I lost a baby smoking in Jamaica. That's another long story in my book. But Jamaican pot is not to be fucked with.
And not only that, it's easily accessible.
Yes.
I mean, the roaches you put out are complete joints in anywhere else in the world. I mean, it was like that accessible.
Yes.
So I had pot, Miss Jenny's cakes, what's
Miss Jenny's cakes?
Miss Jenny, she had like a little hut, and you go, you buy cakes, and the cakes are filled with hash and everything else.
Oh, I didn't know about Miss Jenny's cakes.
I had
thank God.
A Coke, meth, Red Stripe beer.
Red Stripe
beer.
It was
all the same night. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching a concert.
Yeah.
And I went, and they said my giant head, it was like a meteor, because I passed out up here, so the whole thing was all weight, and it went, ka-boom. I mean, imagine that sound. They told me the sound was unbelievable. But I mean, imagine this thing.
Did you hit concrete? What'd you hit?
Concrete, yeah.
Whoa.
And I went out, hovered over my body, and I still remember what the guy said. This other Jamaican guy, a Rasta guy.
What'd he say?
He goes, oh, I had another thing. This another.
Wait. You remember hovering over?
I hovered over my body, and I could hear the voices trying to revive me. Everybody freaked out. I happened to know these two women. One was a nurse, thank God. And I'll never forget the Rasta guy goes, "Pasty mom did too much mushroom tea." And I had mushroom tea too. I forgot about that. That was also served at Miss Jenny's. So the mushroom tea, meth, coke, all in one night, and I was gone for a while. Where to the point where I never thought I'd leave the island. I thought I was gonna be one of those guys that walks up to you and says,
"Were you in a coma?"
Yeah. Well, then I had. I never talked about this. Like
I told you we're getting exclusive.
No, this is totally exclusive.
All right. You heard it here.
I was. Unfortunately, they left me by myself eventually that night.
A nurse left you by yourself?
I know. They had to go somewhere to leave me to die. But I was revived at that time, but I'll never forget, I actually had thoughts that I'll never leave the island. I thought it was going to be one of those those complete whacked out guys that walks up to you in a trench coat.
Like you felt like a vegetable?
Well, I'm just going to repeat stupid stuff like the Roman numeral 21 looks like the inside of an electric generator. I thought it was going to be one of those guys, you know what I mean? Like just coming up with strange facts, and I thought I would never leave the island. That was the thought I had all night long, and literally the devil, just like the Animal House, and God spoke to me. They were both arguing. I've got you. No, come to me. I've got you.
This is a hallucination from the mushroom tea, I'm saying.
And then, everything's spinning. It was one of the craziest nights, and that was not my body.
I was going to say, you of course got high after that.
Well,
as did
gradually went right back in. The next day I said, no, just one joint. So that's just the thinking, and I'm glad I don't do that anymore.
So what actually got you to stop?
Dating a hot chick.
So you did it for her?
No, I had been thinking for a long time. One time, another story I've never told was I was at this outdoor fair, and do you know what iridology is?
No.
It's the study of your eyes.
Okay.
Iridology, and they can look inside, and they really can. I mean, you can see the clarity and everything.
Oh, wow.
So, paid a couple bucks, and she's looking at me, and she goes, and I was with my buddies, and she goes, "Why are you doing this to your liver?" And I go, What? And she goes, oh, you must stop drinking, or you could die. And I go, "Hey, give me a beer, I'll have one for you." I was like, whistling in the dark and all that kind of stuff. But those messages were always peppered throughout. And the bottom was the bottom. It happened to be, dating someone who was
there a day? What was my last drink was a glass of Manischewitz wine at a Seder. That's really sad. That's a really sad time to give up booze. What was
Mad Dog 2020?
Mad Dog 2020 was your last drink?
No, remember that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Mogan Davis.
So what is what makes you have it? What makes the last drink the last drink? What makes that one the last drink?
It was the day that I finally said that I was, one of those people.
You called yourself an alcoholic?
Yeah. It was that day was everything was over. I mean, after that, nothing. Even though I tried drinking again,
You did?
Oh yeah, I went out a few times. I could never get rid of that thought from that point forward. Once I said it, it was the strangest thing. I mean, it was literally a transformation that took place just from saying the words. I just did an intervention last week.
All right, wait. I just hold that thought for 1 second.
Yeah.
My therapist called me an addict. She said, "How much pot do you smoke?" And I said, "Oh, like a hit in the morning, a hit in the afternoon, a hit at night." I didn't tell her I was smoking 20 joints a day.
Whoa.
And she called me an addict just from smoking a couple of hits a few times a day. But ever since she said that to me, once she said that to me, she killed my butt. That was it. It was over. I could
Did you
never.
fire her first?
I stopped.
You didn't want to
I stopped seeing her.
Of course, you stopped seeing
But
her.
I actually didn't. I did keep going to her, but I also never enjoyed getting high again. It ruined it. And because I thought an addict was somebody that had a needle sticking out of their arm.
Yeah, you have those concepts. And like I said, I thought an alcoholic was, my uncle also, he was really, really big. He used to say to me, he called me Neff. He goes, "Yo, Neff, I'd rather be a good liver than have one."
Oh, wow.
And that was his mantra, and he died sober 7 years, but he died of liver damage.
So now were your parents addicts, alcoholics? Did it run in your family?
Not for me to say.
Okay.
Not
But I
for me
mean,
to
was there booze in your background?
Not for me to say.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's fair.
I will tell you that smoked pot with my grandmother.
Wow. Okay, cool. I mean, I didn't know there was.
I said she grew in the backyard. I said
She grew it in the backyard?
I said, what if the police find her? She goes,
I tell them I've got glaucoma.
Oh my God, what year was this?
You think they're gonna arrest me? Come on.
She's got these tiny little wrists. She goes, the cuffs won't fit.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, one of the funniest nights of my life when I was about a year sober, I went to the Jersey Shore. My mom had a rental house, and one of the weirdest moments of my life, and I was just trying to get clean, and I pull up, and there is, right in a row, my sister, my grandmother, and my mother lined up, all sharing a joint. And it was so surreal to see that, and especially because I was newly clean, and it was.
Did they offer it to you?
No, I don't remember.
Because
that.
my family continues to offer me a drink once in a while.
Yeah, I know. People don't really get that. I still get, people buy me a gift, to walk in my door. They always, here you go, and you know where that's going. That's going to go to when I walk in someone's.
That's right. That's the regifting.
And the problem is because I don't drink, I don't know what good is anymore. So I'm going. I have to check with people. Is this good? Because I'm about to give it away. And they're gonna think, oh my God, look at this rot gut.
Oh, I've done that.
I know I have to check on these things. And then it ended up being stolen, because I have, collections of people giving me, free booze, and then it gets stolen, and I know who did it. The kid.
Of course.
Yeah, he had a party
because
once when he was.
He's doing to you what you did.
And when he was in 9th grade, he had a party, and it was not good. I was away in Chicago, and he had girls sleep in my bed. It was what I heard.
Wow, your son's he sounds like the guys I was hanging out with.
Oh,
when I was in school.
I just got him on Bold and the Beautiful last week.
I saw that
Wasn't
somewhere.
that adorable?
Yeah, that's so sweet.
Yeah, I got him on a couple episodes. I was on that show too.
Yes, I know
played a
you
porn
were.
producer.
Which is hysterical.
I got to do Love Master lines.
Oh,
Yeah, they let me ad lib. It was really cool,
On a soap opera, they let you ad lib.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
You have to memorize these lines like minutes before.
Every day.
I felt like Marlon Brando. I don't know if you ever heard, but he would put notes on the tree.
He would write it on
forehead.
Yes, he would write it on.
That's why he would talk so slow. He's looking around going, I give my offer, here here's what I'm gonna say to you. So that's what I was like on Bold and the Beautiful. I had notes everywhere on my desk. And stuff. There's so many lines, you gotta learn them like that, and you only get 1-2 takes. So it's a little pressure, but he only had one line. He was just supposed to be an extra. I figured help pay for college, not in my pocket, out of my pocket.
Nice.
So
NYU, my daughter's at NYU.
They upgraded him though, so he got a line. Yeah, there you go.
So he'll get a SAG card if he gets another couple
He's
of those.
not gonna act. It's not his thing.
What does he want to do?
Sports management.
Ooh, and my son's sportscaster.
I know. I told him about my Sirius XM show.
Which is tell us about your Sirius XM show.
Well, I have a show.
You have a few shows we're going to talk about.
I know. I have a show on Sirius XM. To be honest with you, I'm not sure if it quite resonates with where I am these days.
Why is that?
Because I don't like athletes like I did before, and I have finally realized, maybe this year, that I'm not going to be a professional athlete. I think I've accepted it. I think I'm told to be a coach at this point. It's a tough one to accept. And when you just dream.
What did you want to be specifically?
You know Anthony Fedorov?
Yes, I do. Very well. I love Anthony.
So do I. I just saw him on there.
Anthony's
Tommy Moore. He has
Hi,
pictures
Tommy.
He's going to bribe me with the pictures. But anyway.
Anthony. Will Miller. Hi, Dr. Will.
Get out.
Yeah, there he is.
Oh my God. Now, remember I told you I can remember people's act from back then. I know nothing anymore.
You know Dr. Will? Yeah.
I remember a bit that he did. He went into like the hotels, like a motel, and they always have that shower cap.
Oh yes, it's lovely.
And he would but he would put it on. And he goes, "This is like I don't know what his words were. Is there come here cupcake or whatever? This is supposed to look good. You're on your honeymoon. And you put the. I'll never forget him with that cap on. That's my memory.
That's a little.
But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I try to encourage Justin to take his own path. But obviously he
what sport did you want to play? What was your dream?
Oh, anything.
No, but come on. You had to have, when you were a kid,
Well, the problem was, this was the dream, was I was so far behind, not only from, drank at a very, very early age, so I already was going down that road.
And where you grew up in Philadelphia?
Philadelphia, yeah.
And are you in the inner city, or are you in a suburb?
I started in the city, this Mount Airy section, and moved to the suburbs.
Mount Airy Lodge?
No, my dad, that's where he ended up, running a cult, by the way, his own cult, and running mule rides in the Pocono
Oh,
Mountains.
I heard your story
Yeah,
about
it's a true
my
story.
father was a master of ceremonies in the Catskills and Gabe played Mount Airy.
Well, this is way
we were
different.
in the Champagne. We
In the big champagne
Remember your
jacuzzis. Yeah,
story?
10-foot
No,
high.
we had the pool in the
Yeah,
room.
heart-shaped pool in the room. Yes, I was there every year. I performed there. I want to go
Gabe
back.
opened for Three Dog Night there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was a good gig. So yeah, so
I was a very late bloomer. High school, I was like 5'1".
Yeah, see, I don't get this.
Ninth grade, I won the shortest.
All right, you're very tall.
Yes, but and my mother, I hated. I hated being small. My mother would go. She would always comfort me. She goes, "I'm telling you, you have big feet. You're going to be very tall." Thanks, Mom. I relied on my big feet.
You were 5'1"?
Yeah, ninth grade I was 5'1",
that's sad.
and 92 pounds. I was the only wrestler that had to gain weight. I took weight gaining pills. So it was all, and I remember my coach saying, "Eat a lot of popcorn." I was pounding down popcorn.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What is popcorn?
Buttered popcorn. It's I don't know. That's what he said.
You'll pop.
Listen, you listen to the guy. He's a science teacher.
So when did you go
Benson.
from 5'1" to 6'2", 3"?
Well, what happened was, so I went out for different teams, but I was.
Could you play at 5'1"? You can't play basketball.
Football. I tried everything. Are you kidding?
Baseball, you
I'm
could play.
I'm a very, very stubborn guy.
Okay.
You can't tell me what not to do.
Scorpio.
Is that what it is? With the Scorpio.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Oh my God. Yeah. By the way, if you're out there and you're any other sign, I know you have no will for anything. No, you just let obstacles get in your way. But us Scorpios, we charge through with everything that we have.
We do. I mean, and people who know both of us know we persevere. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We
Yeah, just
persevere.
because we're Scorpios. All right. So anyway, I just kept, that's been my life, is perseverance, no matter what the obstacle.
Me
I
too.
still go through obstacles, and, no matter what. Actually, my wife, she does this thing, you're going to like this. She does this really cool thing. She just stops me in my tracks, comes up to me, and she says, "Can I appreciate you?" That's what she says to me. "Can I appreciate you?" And I say, "Okay." And she just tells me what she appreciates about me. It's the coolest thing. It
Wait a
stops
minute.
me from all my little I'm running around with my ADD, whatever, Asperger's, and I have now. But anyway,
heard you say
so
that.
she stops.
Yeah.
And she just goes, "Here's what I appreciate." And one of the things recently was the perseverance that you will go through, and resilience. You'll go through anything. She didn't attribute it to Scorpio, but still, she just
Wait
said,
a minute, this is really fascinating. So she's learned this as a tool
"Yeah."
to help ground you in the moment. Is that what it is?
Well, I don't know if I'm her identified patient. She's
But I mean,
grounding me. She does it so we have a great divine connection.
I love that.
And well, actually, I've come up with a few too that we do around the dinner table. We do gratitude lists. Everybody,
gratitude
no matter
every
how
day.
young they are,
Oh, I love
all
that.
they start as soon as they can talk. My one son, we go, "I'm grateful for the whole wide world." That was his first straight year. Grateful for the whole wide world. But it's something, and then we also do what I love about you. And we go every single one. "Chloe, what I love about you is," and everyone has to do it to everyone. And it's a really nice way to center and feel that, that giant love that we have together.
All right, so now we're moving into the spiritual stuff, which I wanted to talk to you about because
Okay.
I love that you started this Laughter Heals, and I want to know how did this come to be?
Well, I've been into comedy for a very long time, and a pretty sustained career. It's
Yes, hell yeah.
Ever since Ava Tamini's backyard, doing it for beer.
We're gonna talk about how that started, but that's another story.
So yeah, I mean, I've been at it a long time, pretty good level,
Yeah.
and
I was watching your videos. They have hundreds of thousands of views. That's a good thing.
But my purpose just shifted. It just changed.
When?
Well,
Why?
one of the big ones, my ha-ha moment, was one of my best friends, Michael Goldberg. He wrote Cool Runnings, Little Giants from Philly. The whole bonding. We bonded. Eagles, raising our families to be Eagles fans, watching every week, having pull out the keys when we need a key play. Like, we have an effect on the game. Key play! And only certain people can call the key play, by the way. You've been here 1 week, you can't call a key play.
Harry, do you know about this? Key plays?
No,
Okay.
this is our thing.
Oh, okay.
You put the jinx, the kind of hard. Anyway, so we're like, "You got to be kidding!" And we will blame someone for them losing if they pulled out keys on the wrong time. We do push-ups when they score. We had a whole gang. So me and Golds were at the top of this gang, and with some others, Chad and Larry. But anyway, we bonded, and he directed the movie about this character I do, the Love Master. It's back in '97.
Okay.
Farrah Fawcett's in it. Oh, here you want an exclusive?
Yes. No, I heard you tell a Farrah Fawcett story.
I did?
She grabbed your junk.
She did. I was going to give you another exclusive, but okay.
Oh, give it to me. I love Farrah.
We waited forever for her to get out of the dressing room.
Yeah.
And I found out why. You know that beautiful hair?
Yeah.
I had her poster on my wall.
Hell yeah.
I'm really tall, now. I grew up past the 5'1",
No.
and I look. Oh yeah, it was all.
His hair
It
extensions?
was all of it. She had hair probably this short, and I'm looking in there and going, "What the hell is that?" It looked like Betsy Ross was on crack.
Oh,
was
no,
all-
you've ruined
also-
it now.
Oh, by the way,
hair.
I had a punchline on the, not a punchline, but an end of the one story, because with the two of us with the ADD, this is not going to be good.
You
So
and
I don't know
my
if we've
therapist
ever
are the only
finished-
ones who have ever told me
If-
that I've had ADD.
Listen, your intervention is right there. I guarantee some people are going to agree with that one.
Let's see if anybody's saying
So I go on stage one night, and I lost the wittiest, the funniest, to Paul DeBlazy. And it's in school.
Oh, I'm like, what do I know
I
what
won
that is?
shortest, where they posed me next
You
to the
win
tallest
shortest?
guy. Oh, that was no win. Thank God that photo did not end up in the paper, because I went in, snuck in, and stole it. Oh yeah, there's no way you're gonna put me next to Big Bob Warren.
Who was the tallest?
Oh, huge, Big Bob Warren. He was like a man.
Big Bob.
In ninth grade, he was Big Bob Warren. One time I had a big party, and he guarded my mom so she didn't see everybody bringing booze past her.
She couldn't get around
She
Big
goes,
Bob
he's
Warren.
a very mature man. That's because he is a man, Mom. He's probably closer to your age than ours. So Big Bob Warren, they posed us next to me. It was humiliating.
Oh.
Anyway, so one night at the Improv, Paul DeBlazy is a teacher in LA now. And I said, hey, Paul DeBlazy. I go, yeah, I won shortest, you won funniest. Well, who's the funniest now? I was finally able to get even. Yeah, sometimes things come around in life
They do.
where you get even, or you feel like you have some vindication. But anyway, so by the way, they should keep track of us.
Yeah,
on
well,
how many
will you
different
tell
topics.
Penny, tell us what we're up to, because I'm losing track. I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on here? Okay, so you were going to say that you just did an intervention. That's one thing I remember you were
Oh,
about
that was
to talk
one.
about.
Yeah.
What was that about?
I just, it was last week, and somebody was really a friend.
You Eskimo'd somebody?
No, way more than that. This was
Oh.
heavy intervention,
Oh.
where I brought a guy in
Oh.
who runs rehabs and stuff like that.
Did it
Oh, I was
work?
telling you at Laughter Heals. Jeez, how can we let...
I was going back there.
No, you were not.
I was definitely going back to
This
Laughter
is the
Hills.
big key. So I was saying that what happened in my career was it started to just have these little shifts of, I was in it for the wrong reasons.
Which was?
A lot of the wrong reasons. Some were
Money?
the right reasons. Money, attention, sex,
Mhm.
all of those things
Mhm.
I thought came with it. There was all these illusions that you buy into.
Mm-hmm.
So Golds, we go away to Arizona to film the movie The Love Master,
That's where I went to school.
and his wife wanted to have a baby, and she was ovulating, and I said, listen, laughter works because all these people gave me credit. They have sex after my show. Every guy tries to be the love master. They don't sound like I do. And they're laughing, and things are loosening up. They're not trying to have a baby. All these people have babies. I'm not kidding
Wow.
you. No exaggeration. I can tell you. One sent me a photo. The kid was conceived in the Brea Improv parking lot. Yes. Conceived in the parking lot. I saw that woman the last time I was in Brea, too.
That's
years ago.
hysterical.
So anyway, so guess what? I said, do the Love Master, and he practiced and made her laugh, his wife. And I went and got sandwiches, and I came back, and baby Cable was born 9 months later. Now, there's some debate of whether it was a couple days later or a day later or whatever, but still, most likely it was
Pretty
that
good.
loosened up. Anyway, a year and a half after that, he got brain cancer.
Oh,
and they
God.
said, you have 3 months to live. Say goodbye to everybody. And his daughter's a little year and a half year old, 2-year-old
Oh.
daughter.
Uh-huh.
And that was my moment. That was my moment. I said, what can I do for him? You know, I love helping people, and I loved him. You know, I love him so much. So we started, actually, you had Nancy on here. We worked at WeSpark. We did some pilot programs there.
Nancy
Cancer-
Allen
yeah.
has WeSpark.
Yeah.
If you have cancer, or if you have a family member who does, They're a great support
It is a
system.
great, it's unbelievable. Yeah, and they let us do our laughter heels and developed a pilot program. And
Well, so tell me what
take
that
people,
is.
Well, I took people through. This was all ad libbed. I was on my own on this, just trying to develop. I came up with this fun facilitators that I trained. You don't have to be a comedian. All you have to do is make a choice to laugh.
Okay, so
I do a
tell me
thing
what
called a
that means.
guided laughitation, right? So, right, you can meditate, right?
I'm a terrible meditator. I think about what I'm going to eat.
I know.
It's not good.
I can imagine you're meditating, interrupting yourself.
Nancy turned me on to Calm. Do you know about Calm, the app? I meditate.
Yeah.
That's the only way
I'm too cheap. I won't buy it. But anyway,
I just upped my year. That's how long ago it was.
Well, so what I do in this is laughter's contagious, and I also let people, make them aware of what laughter does to you. They say it's the best medicine. Why do we not focus on that?
Yeah.
Why are comedy clubs not the pharmacists? Why are comedians not the pharmacists delivering this medicine, right? So it oxygenates your body, healing endorphins released, stress is relieved. That's a big one. Your circulatory system. So many things happen if you laugh.
Right.
Our lungs are expanded. Our brains are, just the synapses are firing better, all from laughter. So why are we not doing it more? So I introduced that to the groups every week. We would keep working.
Okay, wait. How do you train a facilitator?
Fun-cillitator.
A fun-cillitator. Yes. How do you train a fun if they're not into laughter? If they're not a comic.
Oh, it's easy because all you're doing is.
What are they doing to get people to laugh?
Well, most people can teach meditation, right? If you just learn it, and it's the same thing. We're teaching them how to teach laughitation, and all it is you breathe, you do the same stuff you do with meditation, and you start. See how you just smile?
Oh, you just physically start to laugh.
You just physically start to laugh. You just make.
So
that
you don't
choice.
even have to have something that's funny.
No, that's the whole point. Is you can do this. I can make people laugh at home just. You cannot not laugh. And then healing enzymes are being released. All this stuff is happening. Just your body does not know that there's no joke. They don't know. There's no difference. It's like, if you run, your body doesn't know you're running one day and maybe, on the bike the next. Your body doesn't know. It just knows it's getting its aerobic.
Has anybody? Do you have proof that anybody has been cured of something as a result of this?
Well, so another thing I did is I said, just try to find more comedy. So I'd have them name their favorite comedians and comedy shows or things that they watched. So put that on your list. How about some funny events that happen in your life, and they would all have a story, and just watch them recreate the story and the smiles that would appear on people. I worked in a rehab recently. They're just miserable and just on, they think there's no hope, and all of a sudden I say, "What happened to your kid?" "Oh, me and my buddy." Right? It starts right out like that. So now they're shifted into that, and it's really amazing what took place. Is I would see all these people just become alive, and you have more hope when you're laughing. Because if you're getting chemo and you're in bad shape, what do you have hope for in your life? But the one thing that we can all share together is laughter. So Golds, we said goodbye to him so many times. He had like 19 lives. It's just horrible what he went through. He lived 15 years.
Wow.
Past the 3-month prognosis.
What kind of cancer did he have?
The brain.
Brain.
And 15 years. I mean, he had other protocols and things like that. There's a doctor at Duke, Henry Friedman. But all of that combined with the laughter, if you combine it with whatever your healing modality is, I guarantee you a longer life. It will definitely happen, and that's what will manifest. It has to, because of all that you're doing for yourself to shift your consciousness.
I believe it also helps keep people sober. The only reason that I started going into the rooms of recovery, I quit through self-righteous indignation. I know you're still looking at the numbers. Stop looking at the numbers.
We hit double digits.
I know that I quit.
Not worth the hour drive in the rain.
I quit. Hey, Glenn Farrington, we were talking about you, Glenn. Hi, George Lyons. Hi, Amy. So I quit through self-righteous indignation, and I did not smile or laugh for the first 9 months that I was sober. I was a miserable human being. And then I would go with my significant other and sit outside the rooms while he was in there, because I wasn't a drunk like the rest of those losers. And they were laughing in there. And I was like, what the fuck are they laughing at? And I decided to go in one day, and I never left, because I found humor and the shared experience made being sober like the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Well, there's a connectedness that goes on.
There's
where
a
you have people
connectedness.
sharing,
We also
experiences
don't
and
take
sharing.
ourselves very seriously there.
Right.
Right?
I'll tell you one thing though, I will admit. So I worked with wounded warriors, I worked with cancer patients.
Mm-hmm.
When I did work at the rehab, that was the toughest.
Really?
Yeah. 'cause
Why is that?
Well, they're right off the turnip truck. I mean, they literally,
Just got sober.
well, in rehab where they're, they have other
They're
drugs
still-
in them,
right,
they deal with the other
right.
drugs and everything else.
Mhm.
So that was the toughest because they would absolutely, the righteous indignation, they were going, you're not going to tell me to laugh.
Right.
Oh, where's the jokes? I had this English guy, he said, there's no jokes. How can you laugh without a joke? You gotta have a joke. Because there's nothing funny. I can't find anything funny in what you're saying. I said, well, just make a choice. How about right now, just smile. No, I have nothing to smile about. Do you have to have something to smile about? How about your own recovery? Do you feel better? Just smile. And then you can't tell them what to do. So, oh, no, you don't tell an alcoholic to do that. That's why there's a thing that says meant to be suggestive only.
Right.
Not you do this.
Right.
Because you say something like that to somebody that has that righteousness, they're going to do the exact opposite.
Right.
So that was the most difficult I've ever had. But the same person I worked with just went with me last week on an intervention, and that was heavy.
Wow.
I have never in my life, I was really scared. It was a friend of mine, and it was her sibling. And
Did they know that this was...
Oh, no.
No.
No. And by the way, folks, if you're ever doing an intervention, I would say probably, I can venture a guess that no one's going to get out of the bed and go, been waiting for you. Where have you been? Have a beer before I go in. I'm ready.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I have to tell you, it was one of the, a real testament to the conviction to sobriety was the way I got in there. I was in full fear outside. So was everyone else. My one friend, she goes, I'm leaving my purse in the car in case I have to run. It was like that. Everyone was frightened because they know what this
What
person's
drug
like.
was the person addicted to?
Mostly beer. And sure enough, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, beers everywhere, gigantic wounds on the arm. And here's how an alcoholic thinks. Gigantic, like
From
bleeding.
what?
Like bleeding. And she's toweling it off with a paper towel as she's talking to us, saying she's not a drunk. So we're going, she goes, we're going, hey, you're not a vision for you right here, honey. I mean, this is not, if you can't see that you are dabbing. She had blood everywhere. It looked like a murder scene. And she actually has the guts to say, this is how alcoholics are. She goes, if I didn't drop my lighter and have to go pick it up, this wouldn't have happened. She blamed it on dropping the lighter, but not the alcohol that brought her down to, it was terrible. But the good news is I could not believe how much courage that I had. I have a lot of, people-pleasing stuff.
I go to that program too.
Well, I'll tell you, this was the one time I dropped all of it, dropped all ego, got on the bed with her, with the blood. And
Wait, you didn't tell us why she was bleeding. Why was her arm bleeding?
because she cut it 2 different places, gigantic,
From a beer
picking
bottle?
up the lighter.
Oh.
She fell off the bed. I said, normal people aren't doing that, with, dabbing themselves at 3 in the afternoon, and then she had to stop everything to watch Steve Wilkos. I mean, so this is not. Anyway, I couldn't believe the conviction that I had, and I kept doing it too. When we left, she said no at first, and she's in rehab now. She probably
Good
is
for you.
4 days sober.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that's.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's courage. I mean, and once you start to shift your life, you get the courage.
What's the tipping point with someone like that where you convince them to actually go with you?
Well, there was no convincing, that's for sure. In full fear, but did get her to say the words that she did say it that day. She said, I'm an alcoholic, and that's when I knew the jig was up. I told everyone that we were with that didn't know anything about sobriety, I go, oh no, she's going. I said, she said the words, and that was awesome. When I knew it, that's when I knew, okay, I can even leave now and know and have faith that she will end up in a rehab, and she's in rehab right now. Yeah.
Wow.
And this was heavy duty. I don't even know why I told that story, but
so your own recovery came about just because it was a girl and you just wanted to please her.
Yeah, nothing to do with I died, nothing to do with I've overdosed, nothing to do with any of that. It was a keg party where they went, you drink too much.
Okay.
Your friend Rachelle, well, she's opinionated.
She is. You know,
she gave me her opinion.
I that makes a lot of sense to me because I quit smoking cigarettes because of Jimmy Connors and Andy Kaufman in a weird way. Andy Kaufman had just died of lung cancer, and I was a heavy cigarette smoker. This was back in the 80s. And Jimmy Connors did not like the fact that I was, we were kind of hanging out. He didn't like the fact that I was smoking a cigarette. And, you know, all of my trying to quit all those years to please him. I just did. Cold turkey. And I haven't smoked a cigarette since.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's go back to how did you know you were funny? When did you know you were funny? I need a tissue. Look at that. When did you know you were funny?
Another story I've never told.
Get out of here! Look at all these exclusives we're having.
Well, we went down under double digits again.
Oh no! Stop looking at the numbers.
So,
hi, George Lyons.
It was like it hit a crack when I got my first laugh with a crowd.
How old?
And it happened to be where I ended up in my career was I used to be hacky, thiefy, you know, impressions, never be me. But what happened was now it's all the opposite. It's everything. I realized that you share experiences, like I learned, you know, and no one can debate your experience. They can debate your opinion. They can't debate your experience. So when I speak to you here, to our audiences, it's just from this place. It's from honesty and truth, and that's what makes the funny.
Absolutely.
And so, ironically, I should have learned it in 4th grade. I went in, and I was a really bad kid. Mrs. Stout, I was so bad, she locked me in a closet for a whole day with my arms tied behind my back, like a gang would do. I was hogtied with blue yarn. I remember it was blue yarn. She tied me up.
You were in parochial school?
No, it was a public school. And she had me like this. She goes, "You sit on that box. You do not get up." And I was so defiant. I would get off the box just to look in the little vent to see her fat legs coming at me. I'll never forget those fat legs in a miniskirt. Here comes Mrs. Stout. And I would jump back on the box, and she kept me there for an entire day. But the one day she liked me was the one day I told the truth about something that happened at our house. And I still remember her face. It was like that embarrassed laugh because I shouldn't have been saying this.
What did you say?
I revealed, physical abuse. Like my mom threw me out all over the place. And I was describing this to the class, and people were howling. But it was like that kind of forbidden laughter. And I remember that feeling. I kept going. And then she threw me across the room, and the bottle broke, and it was all over the place. And then I was like,
wow.
I will never forget that feeling. Oh, wow. I mean, attention, I'm feeling good, I'm out of my anxiety, my depressive state, or whatever it was. I was all out of it from laughter. So I got it at an early age, but didn't get it.
Right.
I just kept going in a different direction for the attention and stuff like that. But that was the hit on the crack pipe for me, for getting that laugh. And it came from saying the forbidden. The stuff that no one else is talking about.
Right.
And that's what good comedy is, I think.
Absolutely, when you walk off the edge.
Yeah. Well, when you share of yourself, people are going, "Oh, I relate to that. I felt that. I never want to feel that again." I mean, that's what's going on inside of them in a visceral sense. And, so that's really increased in the last 25 years for me, the long career. But it just...
So how did it go from that 4th grade kid telling that story to you doing what was the first thing you wanted to be when you grew up? A sports guy, I'm guessing.
Broadcasting.
Oh, broadcasting.
Yeah, broadcasting. That's what I wrote down in my yearbook.
Really?
Yeah, broadcasting, and I just thought maybe be a weatherman, like this guy in Philadelphia was my idol. I did a college
Fritz
report.
Coleman was just here.
Oh, I love Fritz.
Fritz
Actually,
great.
same college. We went
Oh,
to Temple
really?
University.
Oh, nice.
And there was this guy, Jim O'Brien in Philadelphia, was the weatherman. And he was unbelievable. He was on the radio. I wanted to be on radio, and I kept pursuing that because I wanted to be him. He was really dynamic.
Was he funny?
He got really funny.
Really funny.
Oh yeah, he wore. I mean, it was silly stuff. He wore glasses with windshield wipers. I was like, I want to be him. But that was the direction I wanted to take. And by the way, there was no shot that sports were ever going to work, but it didn't keep me from fantasizing.
Right.
That's why.
Of course.
Yeah.
So when did it shift to, okay, I want to be a stand-up comic? Pete just just joined. Pete, you are in Cleveland. You have no business in Cleveland. We needed you here.
Yeah, we
Hi,
did.
Pete.
Yeah, we're all fuzzy because of you, Pete.
No, it's not because of Pete. It's because of the Facebook. We're fuzzy, but it's because of Pete that we started 5 minutes late. I'm blaming you, Pete, all the way in Cleveland. No, I'm not. You're wonderful.
Where's Glenn, by the way? We're supposed to eat.
What?
Glenn, save your appetite.
Glenn? Yeah, Glenn is.
Glenn Farrington.
He lives like 2 miles from
Good.
here. Yeah. Nothing will be open when this is done.
No.
This is the sticks. No, there'll be a few things open, but not many. So okay. So how did it go to stand up? How did that happen for you?
I was working in a law firm. I was going to be a lawyer.
Whoa. Wait. You're a bad student. You're a bad kid.
Downtown Philadelphia. Oh yeah.
Were you getting good grades while you were a bad kid?
Oh, that was total denial, just like athletics. There was no shot that I was gonna. Although I'm one of these guys, when I went to college. I'm one of those people. You might be this way too. Is when things are fresh, it's like the rose-colored glasses go on and everything's fresh. I was on Dean's list.
I was too.
And then a year later, I'd be on a list the dean wanted to see in his office. That's that fast. That's how it works. And so the brains were always there. And this is another story. I never also told this one.
I love it.
This is to give people hope. I really was a kid with very low self-esteem, and it was not being encouraged by the father, the cult leader, the narcissist, the mother that could care less. None of that was going on. No encouragement. I mean, it was. So I actually thought I was dumb. I thought I couldn't do things. I couldn't take. I had to have Tommy Taylor took my SATs for me.
How did you do that? No, don't tell the kids.
They didn't have licenses. Didn't have
pictures.
Yeah. So he went in with my license and he took my SATs.
Wow.
But good thing he did. I got into college. I got my fresh start to get on the dean's list. So that's what I'm saying is everybody has this unlimited potential. But what do? It's pushed down by society, our parents, whatever it is. It's pushed down. It's pushed away. And then you end up believing their self-doubt becomes your self-doubt.
Absolutely.
So I really didn't think I could do this. So I hope that people get this story as not a bragging thing. This is to actually give hope to people. I thought I was an idiot. I thought I couldn't do these things. And now, Writers Guild, this career has happened.
A doctorate.
All this stuff has happened. But it happened from one thing is not believing that anymore and allowing this true potential to shine through progress and through process and, all the things that it takes. But this is again not a braggy thing. I took 2 tests that both said I'm a genius.
Wow.
Is that crazy? I mean, I was the opposite. I IQ tests that said the opposite. I didn't know how to take a test. How do you know how to take a test if you grow up in eating bad food and, like poor people food and, bad canned lima beans and shit on a shingle? How do you end up with any self-esteem or have your brain work? And this is why I'm so passionate when I argue politics. I'm not arguing politics. I'm arguing for people that don't have what other people have. And I'm all for, inspiring people to go for others to have those opportunities. Why are we not, working on people's health and their food and their welfare? But they get attacked. It's like millionaires that host shows on the news are supported by billionaires. So what they do is they go to the people that are voiceless. So me growing up in, we didn't have money. I thought the word evict meant move. I thought they were the same word. Honest to God, I thought they were synonymous. I go, Mommy, the eviction truck is here. We would get evicted or we'd move. Yeah, we kept moving because, I have to live with my uncle or whatever the circumstances were. But, bad poor people food, white flour and stuff like that. So my mission now, my purpose is to shift consciousness, offer people, some experiences that have happened to me that it can happen for you too. Even politically, I don't talk politics, I talk ethics and civics and values. Like if I'm not gonna say anything bad about Donald Trump, but I will say to people, what I say to them is, I'm not gonna attack him or call him names, that's what he does. I say, does he resonate with your values? That's all I ask people. And they'll go, you're liberal. No, just answer that question. Is his actions and who he speaks, how he speaks? Does it? And if it does, that's fine. If you can answer that, if you want those values for your children, you want to pass those on, then I can accept that. But I'm saying check yourself first before your knee-jerk, regurgitated response that they've already handed you, the rich people. Just check with yourself, check with your soul, and see what it says to you. And that's what I speak about laughter healing now. I do keynote speaking, and this is kind of the message that I'm trying to get across to people: is laughter can engage that potential. It engages your truth, your authentic self. That's what it does. It softens everything. It breaks down all the walls, right? All those obstacles that we put there or other people put there, they're all gone, or they dissipate if you get into that state of mind.
And so, and
Can
it
we end
doesn't
on
have
that?
to.
That sounds like an ending.
Well, we can, and it doesn't have to be a joke. It doesn't have to be joke driven.
Nope. It's just a choice. If you can make a choice, I told you I've been doing this all day today with you. Is I could smile. Watch. And you smile back. It's contagious.
Yeah.
It's just.
And I'm a
contagious.
good audience too.
Well, I mean, true, but and you have a willingness, but still, even the unwilling have a really hard time not smiling if you smile at them. Just think about it. It's just a reflection. It's a reflection of self. And so if we can start to give that to the world, my belief is, one at a time. They argue with me. Oh, they come at me on Facebook.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I go at it with them. And it's, I have a game, is another thing I reveal for the first time. I have a game with my friends. I have a lot of conscious friends. I really enjoy that. I enjoy sharing that. We go on private message and predict what they'll say. I won't call them what they are, but I say of that ilk. I would say of your ilk, the follower ilk, we can predict every single thing they're going to say. All their attack methods, their regurgitation.
And do you provoke them?
I don't know if I try to inspire, not provoke.
Okay, good.
But I am a provocateur.
Yes, as am I.
There's a little side of me that gets a kick out of it. Like I'll go on private message with a couple and I get a kick out of it that I got it right.
Yeah. Do you bet? Do you wager?
Yeah. Of course we do, because I'm very competitive. That thing's not going to drop. Oh, my son has it too. Unbelievable. The other day, he's 9 years old. They have a fun run, and they do a certain amount of laps, and he's so excited.
How old is he?
He's good at 9 years old, third grade. He's going to set the record, and last year he did.
Wow.
But they took it indoors this year and did Zumba.
Oh.
You should see his little face.
Oh.
He was all excited. He was going to get all the marks on his back every time he made a lap. And then they're trying to lead him, and they go, "Hey, everybody!" And they're arms up in the air. And he'd go, but I saw myself in him, that competitor, that he was so disappointed.
So how do you impart this wisdom to your children? So at the dinner table, everyone goes around, says what they're grateful for. How else do you incorporate this stuff into your life? What are things that people can do to incorporate this thinking, to encourage others in their lives that need it, to uplift themselves?
The biggest key.
How can we uplift ourselves?
The biggest key.
Yeah.
To everything.
Okay.
Is to find a higher source that exists within all of us. You heard me on that show last week. It's the Wizard of Oz. She went all through this journey like we do. I talked about this on my podcast. The last one, I think, was Samantha Gordon. I really helped her through something. It's called Can I Help You, my podcast.
Dr. Craig Shoemaker.
Yeah, and this was a really good one. She was in a crisis, and I talked to her. I said, "You're Dorothy." So we go through this journey, mind, body, spirit, scarecrow, tin man, lion.
Oh.
And it all comes back to self. This essence, this light, this being, this God, this higher source, this spirit
How do people
that exists in
access
all
it?
of us.
All right, but when somebody is depressed, hopeless, what is the way to guide somebody to find their light? How can we do that?
Why do they call it practice? They call it practice because you have to practice. It's a practice that you have to.
Well, what are steps that we can? What are steps we can help people take if they are
first
feeling
of
hopeless?
all, have a willingness to go there, drop beliefs that you've had in the past. That's a tough one because when I was a kid, I was raised different religions and it's very confusing. So I say, I come in just resentful and it wasn't getting me anywhere. Righteous, I had all the answers and everything, and then suddenly this. It's just like pause for the cause, pause for listening to yourself. And eventually it comes out. If you stop the noise, you got to stop the noise, stop the news. That's one of the things I came up with in the Laughitations. I said, turn off the news as much as you can, because their whole job is to get you upset. And then the drug company sponsors the news
That's a really
that handles the
interesting
anxiety
thing.
they just gave you.
That
Their
is
whole-
really interesting.
So everything's in a cycle, because look at the commercials. It's all about quick
You're
fixes that have the side effects. Literally 3/4 of the side effects on Ambien, it could kill you.
Right.
I need better sleep, not a dirt nap. Thank you. But I mean, I saw this Triblexa the other day. I'm going, I couldn't even figure out what it was for, because the whole commercial was all about how it could hurt you.
Right.
I go, what is it? And they end up going, yeah, it'll stop you from having a stroke. I'd rather have a stroke than walk around with diarrhea and a possible heart attack. Anyway,
All right,
that's their whole paradigm, is it's set up that they will put you in fear. And all politicians put you in fear.
Yes.
So how do you deal with fear? How did Dorothy deal with fear? She was of service to her friends. Remember, she just poured the water on them, and the evil melted away, which was all false anyway. It was all built up. She was nothing but, who would have known that? And then everybody was going to kill her, you thought, when you watched that Wizard of Oz? No, they actually said, Hail Dorothy. They were released from their fears.
Right.
And then it all came to the light comes down and says, you had the answer all along. So we do have the answer all along. It does exist within us.
Okay, but
if we are willing to explore.
Okay, but here's my thing.
Yeah.
When somebody is depressed, I just went through this with a friend.
Yeah.
Very depressed, feeling very, very hopeless.
Yeah.
When somebody is in that state, trying to give them a rope, you know that
The life preserver.
Yeah. I threw you the preserver. I did
Yeah.
this, and how do you throw that light? How do you shine that light when somebody isn't willing, doesn't want to see it?
Interesting you should say that, because you just be your light. If you're in your light, it's attractive. Some people in the dark, they can't see it, but they're going to see it when they see it, or they won't see it. That's the thing, is I couldn't force this intervention from happening, but I went in and told her who I am, and had the courage to do that, and told her how much I love her. So we're all here because we love you. And she got something that she's been missing in her life, obviously, because that's why she is drinking, is she's feeling not loved. So if this is love, if you want to call it that, divineness, whatever, if you give that to people, that's what they're missing. And that's why they're depressed, because they have no hope. They're not feeling love.
Right.
If you look at them in the eye and see their
Just
spirit
keep
reflected
loving
upon
them.
yours, that's all you can do. And there's no timeline on it, there's no control on it, and that's the part we have a hard time with. We want it fixed now.
Right.
My son's going through something right now. I want it fixed now. My teenager, who's going through teenage stuff, very hard on me, because I have this, codependent lock. But I have to say and remind myself all the time, even saying it to you now is a reminder of, okay, gotta let go here. Gotta let go and allow what's supposed to be to happen. You just keep shining. And he'll be attracted to it. For a while, he won't be, because he's in the darkness. He's not interested in the light. If you're a dark person, you have no interest in anybody with the light.
Right.
Look how many people turned off here.
So tell me,
No light.
So what's your daily practice for yourself, Craig?
It's never daily, because it's too scattered.
Okay.
Too scattered of a life. Obviously 4 children, 2 different wives. 2 are with 1, 2, and it's really hard to get a regimen. I wish I had a better one, but I'm on the road. I just got in from Florida today. I was in Florida last night performing.
So if you feel yourself starting to slip to a dark place, what do you catch yourself quickly?
No, not always. Everything is predicated upon the practice. The more you practice, the better you can handle any situation.
Do you still go to meetings?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Well, no, not of course, not
We're not
ever.
supposed to talk about that.
No, we can talk about it. We just can't name them. But we can talk about meetings and programs.
Like no one knows.
Well, it's.
I've been trying to avoid it the entire conversation with
Nancy. Hi, Nancy. Nancy's here.
Oh,
Hi, Nancy.
Nancy, you have to watch from the beginning. I think we mentioned.
She'll go
Did we
back.
mention
We
her
did.
today?
We talked about.
Oh, we
her.
talked about Witjh.
Well, I don't know if we talked about Witjh.
That being an
And
inspiration
Nancy
for
just
Laughter
lost her
Heals.
baby, and my heart to you, Nancy. Her little puppy. She lost her baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 3 days ago.
Hi, Nancy.
I love you, Nancy.
So, anyway, that's...
So sometimes, what you started to say, so sometimes you can...
It's all predicated upon the
The
condition.
practice. So
if I'm conditioned to, as a boxer,
Okay.
if I stop my conditioning program, someone's going to hit me and hurt me.
Okay.
Okay, if I stop my meditative program or my consciousness
Meetings.
program or whatever it takes a lot of those things.
Yes.
It's mind, body, spirit. You got to keep developing your mind, keep developing your body, and keep developing your consciousness, your spirit, mindfulness.
Okay.
So if I stay mindful in that practice, it's a mindful practice. It's not easy because we're so distracted.
Right.
Look at this. Look what I'm dealing with here. I got you. I got a camera over here. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at how many people are leaving the conversation. I'm wondering why Nancy didn't say hello.
Nancy, say hi.
So, I mean, it's a lot of distractions. So what's it going to take? It's going to take solitude and working on self to be a better self and to shine that light, and people will find it. You know what I always say to people? I said, they come at me with these attacks, you libetard and all the names.
Right.
I said, I don't want what you have. I have no interest in what you have. Because I can see what it is, I can see the anger, I can see the rage, I can see the resentment, I can just see it spilling over, the confusion. There's no love in this message, there's no divineness to this message when they're attacking. And so, like I said, I don't make it about politics, I make it about finding yourself. This Dorothy journey has nothing to do with politics. By the way, that's the ultimate man behind the curtain. You're going to listen to this man behind the curtain, and they all accepted their little fate in Oz. Ho, 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 and a couple la-di-das.
Happens to be my favorite movie, by the way.
Same here. And my whole speech is about that. I do a whole speech when I'm speaking for Laughter Heals with corporations. I take you all through it. It's a metaphor for our entire, every single person. It's a metaphor. That's why it's everybody's favorite movie. They even predicted in the movie it will stand the test of time. What other movie has ever done that and succeeded in doing that? Remember in the beginning, it said it'll be here for ages.
Wow.
That's what they say in the beginning of the movie.
Wow.
They talk about a positive affirmation. And they were right. To this day, everybody knows that movie.
Okay, so let's get back to this just to give people a practical thing. So let's say you're in a dark place. Usually when we're in a dark place, we're not really so self-aware in those times. Let's say, okay, so now you get aware. You're in a dark place.
Yeah.
You haven't been doing your practice, which is why you're in your dark place.
Well, you'll go deeper into the darkness if you're not practicing.
Okay,
Yeah,
so what are the practical things you're going to do because you want to get yourself out of it? Do you want to get yourself out of it?
Sometimes you don't. You wallow in that, and then you'll find other people that will join you in that misery.
Yes.
Because they'll endorse it.
Yes.
You're not going to find a lot of friends. I shouldn't say that. Well, actually, no. The road is more narrow of the friends that are going to encourage you to get back on that path. And, right? I'm talking about most of the world is dark. When you say most of the world has caught up into the paradigm that they feed us every day. It's a very loud voice. It's pounded into us. And by the way, I adopted that way of thinking. I used to be sexist, racist, all those things. That's the way I was raised, and it's pounded into you every single day by multi-million-dollar corporations. They have the whole voice. Is there anyone on television going, hey, let's take a pause. Let's take a pause for the cause of the freedom of your soul. There's nobody doing that. We have us doing it in front of now 4 people. Even Nancy dropped out.
Yeah, come on. Okay, so you're in a dark place. So you were starting to say people want to take you down, or people want to help you back up.
Most would rather you misery loves company, right? Okay. Most would rather that, except if you hang with some of these people. Yeah, well, I call it the rarefied air. It's a real rarefied air to find those people that you can
I have my
true,
God squad.
Yeah,
my God squad.
It's true vibration that you have with them. It's true vibration. That's what we're all trying to get to, is this true vibration that exists with all of us.
So do you know to make that phone call? Are you smart enough to do you have smart fingers? Do you know to make that call?
It depends if I'm in my righteous position, which is usually because I'm weakened by my non-conditioning, because I'm being right too much. That's a bad practice. Or if I'm in the practice of, my book is about that. I wrote a book called Love Mastered, where this woman was in pain, and she said, she wrote me a private message on Facebook, thought you want to know, Matt and I are divorcing after 30 years of marriage. And literally, this thing came over me.
Tell the story.
This thing came over me where I said, oh, this is a shot from your true essence to reach out to her and share your story and share your pain and share all the obstacles, the rumbling, stumbling, crumbling that I had to go through in my own divorce. So,
did you become pen pals with her or something?
Well, what happened was on private message, we went the whole year of corresponding. I ended up being a muse for her. She was a brilliant writer. She was like put away. She had alcoholic, abusive husband, the whole deal. So I was like, and I would share some things that were still going on with me and the, custody battles and all that kind of stuff. So our sharing together, we bonded. And here's how cool my wife is. She was totally into it. It was like I was having an affair. I mean, I was loved this woman, and she loved me. Not in a sexual way.
Right.
Again, you get rid of these old systems and ideas. And I just said, just be there for her, and you'll be there for yourself in the meantime, because you're being of service by telling her, oh, here's some things that might happen. Here's some of my discoveries. Here's some of my recovery. Here's
sharing experience, strength, and
right, and that's all I did with her for a year, and you just watched her blossom. And I'll tell you, I don't want to spoil the book in case anyone gets it. It's called Love Mastered.
Well,
it was like a mastery of love is what happened. So about midway through the year, I said, I also have a psychic sense, very developed right now. It's freaky, this psychic sense. I just picked a baby for these people, didn't even know they were having one. Then I told them the gender. It just really is a very strong side from the practice, because we all have it. We all have clairsentience or whatever it is. I kept developing this, and I said, I see a man for you that you've never been with before, because she was always into the looks and all the stuff that we all go for because we're taught. I said, go for a man that's truly about love and divine essence and all that. As I see, she goes, no, I'm 50, it'll never happen. I go, oh no, it's happening. And I will say, I cheated it a little bit. I fixed her up with my friend, 3,000 miles away, by the way. And now they've both never been, he was also in an abusive relationship. They've never been in love like this, not for the rest of their lives. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. I watch them hold, probably about 6 years now. I watch them hold hands. It's just adorable, middle-aged people just have found their love finally.
Oh.
And it was the most amazing ending to the book.
I love this.
There's some things where the book keeps going though, because life goes on. You still have to deal with people. Maybe some people with some borderline personality disorder or narcissistic. It's tough stuff, and that's where you really got to be resilient and work that stuff, because that is a whole other level of dealing with that, because they'll never be wrong, they'll never apologize, you can't expect them to. You get
I've been there, done that.
Unreasonable expectations are going to kill us. So I need to be reminded of that all the time, and that's what it does. I even needed to be reminded by just saying it tonight, because I've been in that little funk recently over something I'm powerless over.
Yeah, well, powerlessness. So what do we do? What I do when I'm powerless is I turn it over. And I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
And this hip hop guy at this little room in New York said that what he does to turn it over is he takes an action. Because if he takes an action, then he's no longer in his head.
Exactly right.
And therefore it's giving it up. So
that's
washing the dishes. So I have a joke with my friend Emmy. Wash the dishes, Vicki.
But that's what laughter does. Laughter's an action. You're engaging every part of your body is now being engaged in a way where you have now softened.
I don't know about this laughter without the joke, though. I'm still a little stuck on that, although
It's already worked. Watch, see? You're just thinking about it.
Oh,
watch this. I'll make them at home. I forgot to tell you one thing that I added in my research. This you might like.
Okay.
I added, during your laugh, you express out loud what you're dealing with. It's the coolest thing.
Do it.
Okay, all right. Okay.
That's hard. That's embarrassing. I don't know if I can do that.
Watch. Of course you can. It's just being honest.
Okay.
All right, ready? Laugh with me. My divorce cost me so much money. My kid's in college. I can't get them into the DeVry Institute. University of Phoenix is too expensive online. Anyway.
Yeah.
So now, watch how you feel. Check in with yourself, and that's why I do an laughitation. Yeah, you just feel the relief. Feel the relief. Yeah, you feel a little warm and fuzzy, and so that works for me so much. And now I took the power out of that financial condition of which we all have fear over, and I just it's meaningless. I don't even know how much money I have in the bank right now.
And
I have
so
no idea.
How long does that last, that freedom from that fear?
Oh, it lasts a very long time, especially, again, if it's part of your conditioning. So you do the laughitation.
The practice.
And it's amazing, what can happen once you remove these obstacles, or you see them in a different way. You see how meaningless things are, because we put so much attachment to things, and it has to be this outcome. And that's when we're in our biggest trouble. That's when you're like this, you're trying to win. Not going to win that way. And I have to remind myself that all the time. So I'm going to walk out of here inspired by just this connection that we had.
I love that, as am I, and I think you've given me some. I'm going to try this thing with the laughing thing.
Do it right now. Tell me something that's going on with you. Go ahead, just do it. Be honest. See, get out of your head.
Am I
Say
ever
something.
going to make money from this fucking show?
Not today.
Not today. God damn it. Yeah. Okay. So maybe. Oh yeah. So
But you keep going with that. You just yell them out loud. I did it at a real estate seminar. 4,000 people were howling, laughing, and then people were saying stuff like, "I lost it listening to a Zillow agent." I mean, it's so funny. I actually have a video on my website and I think my Facebook page, the fan page, that shows you how the laughitation is done, and it's remarkable to watch people. You just see their whole self.
So if you're speaking
shifts.
in a corporate gig, you'll go in there and you'll get everybody laughing?
Yeah.
I love that.
It's almost easy once you start because you can't.
You can't not laugh.
Right, and even with the factor of you don't want to look like an asshole, that's going to be, no, I'm not into this. When I did rehabs, yes, they had no problem with that because they were almost in it together. Like, we're going to show this guy. But most people, they really do want to laugh. I actually have an acronym for it. It's LAUGH is love, acceptance, understanding, gratitude, humility. That's the acronym. Love, acceptance, understanding, gratitude, and humility is our greatest teacher. Every time I've learned a lesson, it's been from being humble.
Absolutely.
Some lesson
being
of humility.
humbled.
Yes,
usually
humble.
for me.
Exactly right. And that's when you have to either double down and go down dark and deep and get in more trouble, or you're going to double up your path.
Gratitude.
Yes, exactly. So.
Well, I love all of this, Craig. So tell people where they can find
We
you.
went everywhere.
We
here.
did. You know what? But
no script. It's the only thing that's not on the table.
Yeah, but
we've got phones and
but
pods.
You know what? That's the way I never have a prepared question because we went where we were supposed to go. There are no accidents. There are no mistakes. We did exactly what we were meant to do.
Down to 4 people.
So
can people see this at another time?
Always. It's available forever.
Okay.
Yes.
So you'll promote it and tell people.
I'm going to promote it. It's also going to be on YouTube, but I'll send you the link. You'll put it on your page.
Maybe
so
if
your
somebody's
people
feeling
can find
dark,
it.
maybe they can listen
and
to.
See,
tell them to go to
somebody's
hour
loving this.
110.
Well, because what happens is when we're done, I sit down, I listen to the show again, and then I write these liner notes about the things that we touched on, so that people will know what's in the show. Beautiful. And part of it is going to be laughing to happiness.
I lost my meal mate. I'm supposed to go out with Farrington right now.
No, Glenn's.
Is he still
around?
around?
Glenn's around. Don't worry. Glenn's around. He'll be here. So where can people find?
CraigShoemaker.com.
Okay.
I have some local shows coming up, like Pasadena Ice House.
Okay, I put your thing up.
I have a lot of Agora Hills, the big canyon club. It's usually packed with 700 people or so. Mm-hmm. But I'm still out there kicking it with the comedy.
So when you do the comedy, is your comedy different because your thinking is different?
No. As a matter of fact, one of my other goals is to build a bridge. There's spiritual people. Mm-hmm. They take themselves too serious. And they don't understand you can take another avenue other than sitting on a rock in Sedona to get your spirituality, or going to a certain spiritual center or a meditation center. You can get there through the path of laughter. And that the problem with comedians and many people in comedy, they're about cynicism and sarcasm, which removes you from spirit. It takes you away. You're in your head. You're not in your lion. You're in your scarecrow. So I'm trying to build a bridge from the woo-woo to the ha-ha, and build this bridge where we understand it is a very spiritual practice to laugh more. And spiritual people need to hear that. And the comedians need to know that they have a gift. They have a gift of people that access their true feelings and their true self. They can help people get there. It's just that there's very little awareness. I'll be long dead by the time people get this. But that is one of the messages, one of the seeds that I am trying to plant, is to have people have that understanding and have a willingness to get that. Because I perform for spiritual people. It's not an easy audience.
Yeah, I bet it's not an easy audience.
Because they don't know who they are yet. A lot of them. I'm generalizing, but they don't know who they are yet. They're still in this process of learning and a million books, and it's this book, it's that book. This is how they sit. This is how they watch a comedy show. Wait a minute, I think I'm supposed to be sensitive to that. I think that's inappropriate. I gotta check around. Oh, they're not laughing either. I'd say stuff like, like painful stuff, and I go, oh, no, laugh. I do this really quick joke. I go, my father left when I was born. Something I said, wham. Oh, no, I'm fine. But people of that ilk, they also have a difficulty getting to the pleasures of life because they're so serious. They think you have to do this all the time. Oh, and everything's soft. Oh, bless you. And when they hug you, it has to be heart to heart. Can't be this way. So now you're all mixed up.
God, I don't even know about that.
Oh, jeez. But you need to hang out with more of the woo-woos. Woo-woos. But that's the thing. So don't we want something kind of that connects the two? And the comedians we know, 1 o'clock in the morning, sarcastic, just, about themselves, trying to get laid and all that kind of stuff. So why can't we bring the two together? And that would be one of my big goals.
So how do you what's one way you can implement that? You can facilitate that?
Well, by teaching it. I mean, this is something that I'm learned about and it's a goal, it's an intention to, that's why, again, when I'm arguing with people on Facebook, they're talking to me like I'm what they're labeling me. California, liberal, libtard, all those things, I already have labeled. I'm trying to, connect us on common ground, which we hopefully all have the common ground of love and acceptance and all of those things, and good values and morals, that don't shift with your party, because you're behind someone. You're not all in on anybody. Then you're deifying someone. We don't want to do that either. We want to understand that this is where it exists, and here, true consciousness always tells you the answers.
I love that.
I'm always looking for a button here. A button on the show.
Well, I think the true consciousness and the connection, I think connection is the button on the show. And I love that there was no agenda here, that this wasn't about promoting anything or it wasn't.
It'd be nice if a couple people came to my show. I know they didn't get a lot of laughs today.
All right, so girls, so I'm gonna call the girls. So Elle and all the girls who were on the thread, we're gonna have to go see Craig and do a lot
I've seen Elle at the Canyon Club. She brings a big gang.
Yeah,
Jacobson and all that.
Elle is great about that.
Yeah.
And thank you for driving in the teeming rain. It was really worth it because
I took a ferry. That's how bad it was.
It was the Ark was coming over the thing, but this was a really important conversation, and I am confident that many people will find it after the fact.
I hope so.
The little numbers here. And next week.
And by the way, write me if you did. I would love to hear from you. Maybe you'll be my next book.
I love that.
You can write me a private message, or I love when I hear stuff like that. When people say, I really, that took me in a different direction, because that's what I'm trying to be, as a disruptor. Disrupt, this common paradigm that just keeps flowing and flowing and flowing. It just keeps going. There's nobody is a disruptor of that system of doing things. And that's what I'm trying to do, is go, think about that a little different. Check with yourself. So if I have disrupted anyone, to the point where you'd say, hey, I never thought of my divorce that way, I can approach it that way, or I never thought of pain that way, my depression that way, thanks for, or whatever, or maybe check out my podcast, maybe they can, that's all about helping people, that whole podcast. It's called Can I Help You? Dr. Craig Shoemaker.
Okay, and they can find that on,
everywhere.
That baby.
And on Instagram, I'm Craig Shoe. I need followers.
Okay, he needs followers.
They won't verify me. They don't care about my big career. I got all these perform for presidents and all this, comedian of the year. They don't care because it's not current.
All right, so I'm gonna put your.
I don't have a check mark.
You're at Craig Shoe.
And
it'll be in the liner.
The Love Master on Twitter. I'm a little better with followers on that, but I had to follow 16,000 people to get it. But follow me and we'll stay in touch with one another and kind of grow together, and we'll be really cool.
I find Facebook is where the conversation really happens.
I agree. You can go long form, and we're long form people.
We are long.
You can't shut us up. What have we been on 2 hours on?
We are long form people. And
your poor son is sitting there going,
I know, he's end it already, end it.
He's actually going, oh my God, she met her match here. This guy talks more than she does.
That's that's hard to do. Next week on Game Changers, Lauren Gold. He plays keyboard with The Who.
Okay.
With The Who for a long time. And Lauren's going to be here. And maybe we'll get him to do some playing. Craig, thank you so much for making that trip. It was wonderful.
Thank you, sweetie.
Your non-jealous wife, Harry, thanks for staying.
Oh,
on
watch
camera.
this. Shut. I'll show you. She could be watching us make out. She go,
Oh
good
my
for you.
God.
I'm just kidding.
Good for her.
No.
We'll see you next week on Game Changers. Take care.